What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Ace Phillips here with Underground on Top, bringing you more music reviews. This time we're going to do it in the style of a radio review, and the reason we're doing it this way is because it's easier for you guys to share this review, to get it out there. All you got to do is just click play and listen right there on Facebook or YouTube or whatever the case may be. We're trying to consistently improve on what we're doing to help you so that we can help get your word out there as artists. Today, the particular music review that we have in store for you is an LP. It's called Damage Control, and it's by The Real Truth. A couple good things about this particular LP, a couple of bad things about this particular LP. One of the better things about this LP is the fact that it's definitely got a strong message, and it's his personal views on things like politics and religion and things of that nature, and how we're being dumbed down as society, which is a track on the album that we're going to cover in this review. And the reason he feels like we're being dumbed down as a society, and maybe what we can do to change that and head in the right direction. So if you're into this particular style of music or particular concept or idea behind music, this is definitely a must listen. There are some bad things about the LP, though. One of the things is I don't feel like it was mixed and mastered on a professional level. It's really amateur, as is a lot of the music. I've made music, like this. You got to get your start somewhere, and this is his first project. So, he's put a lot of time and effort into it. And if you, like I said, if you're into this particular style, into political music, things of that nature, you definitely want to give this one a look at. So. Moving on into the review, we're going to cover the first track. It's a track called Wonder Why. And basically it covers a lot of things. Why is there crime? Why is there killing? Why are we carrying our baggage around in a negative way and posting it on Facebook for everything to see? Why do we do the things that we do as people? Why? Well, I wonder why sometimes. Obviously, The Real Truth wonders why. He wrote a whole track about the concept of I wonder why things are the way they are. You definitely want to give this particular track, it's the first track on the LP, a listen, because it kind of conveys who he is as an artist, a little bit about what he's about, and definitely showcases that. It does get a little repetitive with the wonder whys in the background, but all in all, it's a solid introduction to who he is as an artist and his message that he's trying to convey. Moving on to track 2, it's called Dumbing Down Society, something we already talked about a little bit. It's got a nice little beat. It's got some strings and pianos in the beat. Explains his belief on politicians and their hidden agenda to keep us as society dumbed down so they can further their own hidden causes. He really goes on the attack for politicians like this, shady little shaky politicians that you always envision with the bony fingers, and they've got the little pen and they're pointing it up behind the podium as they say, "We're here for you," and then they turn around and personally just push their own agenda. So he covers that in that track. Track 2, Dumbing Down Society, how they keep us dumbed down so they can further their own hidden causes. Next track we wanted to cover in this particular review is going to be track 4. It's called A Race for Information, and why I particularly feel like this is a must listen to if you're going to get into this album and try to listen to the albums, because it covers a subject that has recently come to light as something that is no longer a part of fiction or only something that we see in movies. It's actually stuff that happens. The Race for Information. Basically what it is a track that talks a little bit about how the government, keeps an eye on our emails and watches us on social media and everything that we're doing, and even watches us on video cameras at intersections, and basically just puts everything about us as a person into a file and stores it away just in case they ever need it for whatever purpose. Basically we used to just feel like this was stuff that happens in movies, but as per some of the information that has been leaked recently by one Edward Snowden, for example, so there may be some merit to this. It might not just be fiction. Hopefully there's not going to be anybody kicking down my doors and putting me in a black bag operation for talking about this or whatever, but that's basically track 4 there, Race for Information. Track 5 I'm sorry, I apologize, track 6 is called God's Shadow. He covers a little bit of his beliefs on religion here and kind of talks a little bit about, how some people, it doesn't matter what religion you are, go to their congregation or their service, on particular days or whenever they're scheduled to meet, and they act a certain way while they're there, but when they get out and go back into the real world and go into their places of work and go into their homes and things of that nature, they continue to do the things that directly oppose what their religion teaches. And that track covers that a little bit. If you're really religious on a particular day of the week and then you turn around for 6 other days in the week and do something that opposes what your belief says that you should be doing, you might get your feelings hurt just a little bit listening to this track. So if you're into stuff like that, give it a listen. If you think you're going to get your butt hurt, you might want to steer clear of that particular track. Track number 7 is a track called Until Tomorrow. Now, I personally didn't care for this track, and there's a reason I didn't care for it. It has a very strong message, and it does talk about things like troubled youth, threatening suicide, and I feel like as a person who does care about that kind of thing, whenever I hear this song, I'm going to want it to be delivered in a very strong, persuasive way to get us to recognize that things like this do go on, and what can we do as people to reach out to have something like that changed, or kind of steer people away from wanting to kill themselves or something of that nature. I don't feel like the track was delivered powerful enough for me to want to get motivated to do something about it. It does tell a story, but I don't feel like it was told very strongly. That it wasn't written well, that the mix was off, that the beat didn't really catch my attention. As with every album, most albums that are released, you always have that one album that sticks out there that like a sore thumb. This would be that track for me in particular, but maybe you'll like it. You'll never know. You might want to give it a look. We're gonna go ahead and skip down towards the end of the LP here because there's another noteworthy track that I felt like had exactly the opposite effect on me, and I felt like was the best track on the entire LP, and that was track number 13. It's called A Touch of Happiness. It does have a nice beat. It does talk a little bit about what it's like to be a father to a daughter. Maybe you have a son, but this particular track talks about what it's like to be a father to a daughter, how you look at your life, evaluate your life. Maybe there's some things that you can do to change yourself as a person so that you can better yourself as a parent. Very strong track, very emotional track. You can tell he's passionate about this, and I certainly think that it is the shining star on the entire LP. Definitely worth a listen if you're a parent and you have any kind of emotional attachment to your kids, which if you're a parent, you fucking better. Pardon my language. But, we're going to go ahead and move on here a little bit. We're going to talk about track number 14, The Rise of the Fallen. It does touch base on the changing of our future as a society and to further ourselves as people in that society. It encourages us to change the way that we spend money to, help further us in the direction that we plan on heading as a nation and as a people. It does have a particular strong point in this track that I felt like made the whole track noteworthy enough to make the review, and that is towards the middle endish of the song. The beat does slow down a lot, and he grabs your attention when he says, "We need to get the markets on track and let the companies fail." And the way he delivers that is powerful, and it kind of slaps you in the face. And we as artists and even as consumers of music like that kind of thing. When the beat slows down or the beat drops and our artist that we particularly enjoy slaps us with something crazy. And that's what he does here. He's talking about changing the way that we spend our money, changing ourselves as society, heading in the right direction. All of a sudden the beat drops and he's like, yeah, and let the businesses fail, because we can do better. I just thought that was very noteworthy, very powerful. The way that it was delivered was beautiful. And you guys should definitely give that track a listen to. Track number 15, a track called Purpose. Now, what this track does is it tells you the purpose of the album. And it's not something that we would expect to hear as artists. As artists, our purpose is to make it, in the music industry. That's what we want to do. He actually kind of slaps us with a bigger glove on this one. Says, he's doing the music for fun, but he does have a bigger platform, a bigger goal, a bigger cause that he's trying to accomplish, and he's using the music to help push that cause. And he uncovers that cause, or that purpose, or that goal in the last 2 bars of the last verse on this song. And if you're into music that covers politics, covers religion, covers things that are meaningful to society and things that are important to society, and you want to know what that is, you're just going to have to download it and give it a listen. The Real Truth. LP is called Damage Control. This has been Underground on Top, bringing you Ace Phillips music review. We want to go ahead and give you a thanks for listening. Give us a like, give us a share, subscribe to the YouTube page, things of that nature, yada, yada, yada. Keep the ball rolling. If you guys enjoy the way that we provided you with the music review today, let us know. We'll continue to do it in this form and fashion. As always, this has been Ace Phillips with Underground on Top. Keep real, stay true, make music. Underground on Top, and we stay here.